Maya stared at the bright red F on her exam paper. It was as if the letter was mocking her, a stark reminder of her failure. She had studied so hard, spent countless nights poring over textbooks, and yet here she was, facing the harsh reality of her efforts. The classroom around her seemed to blur, the chatter of her classmates fading into a distant hum. All she could focus on was that glaring F. It felt like a punch in the gut. The disappointment was visceral, a physical ache that settled deep in her stomach. She had always prided herself on her resilience, but this felt different. This felt like a personal failure, a reflection of her inadequacies. The weight of it was almost unbearable. Math had always been a struggle. But this was worse than usual. She had never been a natural at numbers, but she had always managed to scrape by. This time, however, she felt completely out of her depth. The formulas and equations seemed like a foreign language, one she couldn't hope to understand. She had tried tutoring, extra practice, everything she could think of, but nothing seemed to help. This test was important, a stepping stone to her dream of becoming an architect. She had always been passionate about designing buildings, creating spaces that were both functional and beautiful. This test was supposed to be a milestone, a confirmation that she was on the right path. Instead, it felt like a roadblock, an insurmountable obstacle that threatened to derail her dreams. Now that dream seemed miles away. The future she had envisioned, the one where she was a successful architect, seemed to be slipping through her fingers. She couldn't help but wonder if she was fooling herself, if she was chasing a dream that was never meant to be. The doubt was crippling, a constant whisper in the back of her mind. Disappointment welled up inside her. It was a bitter, choking feeling that made it hard to breathe. She had always been her own harshest critic, and now she couldn't escape the voice in her head telling her she wasn't good enough. The tears came unbidden, a release of the pent-up frustration and sadness that had been building inside her. Maybe she wasn't cut out for this. The thought gnawed at her, a persistent doubt that she couldn't shake. She had always believed that hard work and determination would see her through, but now she wasn't so sure. Maybe she was in over her head, trying to achieve something that was beyond her capabilities. Maybe she wasn't smart enough. The idea was devastating, but it was hard to ignore. She had always been a good student, but this failure made her question everything she thought she knew about herself. Was she really as capable as she believed? Or had she been deluding herself all along? The thought of giving up flickered in her mind, tempting and terrifying at the same time. It would be so easy to walk away, to abandon her dreams and settle for something less challenging, but the idea of giving up on something she loved, something she had worked so hard for, was equally terrifying. She was at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take, and the uncertainty was paralyzing. The walk home was a blur. Maya's mind raced with negative thoughts. She replayed every difficult math problem, every frustrated study session. Doubt whispered in her ear, "What's the point of trying if you're just going to fail?" Reaching her room, Maya collapsed onto her bed, tears stinging her eyes. She felt lost, unsure of her next step. Giving up would be easier, wouldn't it? But a tiny voice inside her refused to be silenced. Later that evening, Maya's grandmother found her still curled up on the bed. She sat beside Maya, her touch gentle and reassuring. Grandma, a woman who had faced her own share of challenges, offered no empty platitudes. She simply said, "Remember, Maya, every great building started as a blueprint, a dream someone dared to pursue." Grandma spoke about challenges as opportunities, about failures as stepping stones. Her words sparked a flicker of hope within Maya. That night, Maya made a decision. She had been feeling lost and overwhelmed, the weight of her recent failures pressing heavily on her shoulders. But as she sat at her desk, staring at the blank pages of her journal, something shifted within her. She realized that she had a choice, to let her setbacks define her or to rise above them. The night was quiet. the world outside her window still and calm, mirroring the resolve that was beginning to form in her heart. She would not let this setback define her. Maya knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, filled with obstacles and moments of doubt, but she was determined to face them head-on. She looked at herself in the mirror, her eyes reflecting a newfound strength. She was ready to take on whatever came her way, to prove to herself and to the world that she was capable of overcoming any challenge. She would prove her doubts wrong. Every time a negative thought tried to creep into her mind, she would counter it with a positive affirmation. She would remind herself of her strengths, her past achievements, and the dreams she held close to her heart. Maya clenched her fist in determination, nodding confidently to herself. She was ready to embark on this journey, to climb the mountain that lay before her. The next morning, she woke up with a newfound determination. The sunlight streaming through her window felt like a warm embrace, a reminder that each day was a new opportunity. She stretched by the open window, taking in the fresh morning air, feeling invigorated and ready to take on the world. With a smile on her face, she got out of bed, ready to start her day with purpose and drive. She sought help from her teachers, joined study groups, and surrounded herself with people who believed in her potential. Maya knew that she couldn't do it alone, and she wasn't afraid to ask for help. She found mentors who guided her, friends who supported her, and a community that uplifted her. Together, they worked towards their goals, pushing each other to be the best versions of themselves, and spent hours poring over textbooks. The path wasn't easy. There were late nights and early mornings, moments when the material seemed impossible to grasp. But Maya was relentless. She studied in the park, under the shade of trees, and on benches, finding solace in the beauty of nature around her. She used every resource available to her, determined to master the subjects that once seemed insurmountable. There were moments of frustration, times when she felt like giving up. The weight of her ambitions sometimes felt too heavy to bear. She would sit with her head in her hands, feeling the sting of failure and the fear of not being good enough. But each time she would take a deep breath, remind herself of why she started, and push forward. Tears shed over complicated equations. But Maya persevered, fueled by the fire of her dream. She wiped away her tears, looked at the difficult equations with renewed focus, and kept going. She knew that every challenge she faced was a step closer to her goal, a testament to her resilience and determination, fueled by the fire of her dream and the memory of her grandmother's words. Her grandmother had always told her that she was capable of achieving great things, that she had a strength within her that could move mountains. Those words echoed in her mind, giving her the courage to keep going, to keep climbing, no matter how steep the path, and the memory of her grandmother's words. Maya often looked at an old photograph of her grandmother, drawing inspiration from her wisdom and strength. She visited her grandmother's grave, leaving flowers and silently promising to make her proud. As she gazed at the sky, she felt a deep connection to her grandmother, a guiding light that would always be with her on her journey. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Maya's routine became a testament to her dedication. Each day began with renewed resolve.
I tackled each problem, each concept with unwavering focus.
She celebrated small victories, learning from setbacks.
My journey wasn't just about conquering math.
It was about proving to herself that she had the strength to overcome any obstacle. Finally, the day of the retake exam arrived. Maya felt a familiar flutter of nerves, but this time it was different. It wasn't fear that gripped her, but the quiet confidence that comes from hard work and unwavering belief in oneself. As she finished the last problem, a sense of calm washed over her. She knew deep down that she had done her best, and sometimes that's all that matters. The results arrived, and Maya's hands trembled as she unfolded the paper. She had been waiting for this moment for what felt like an eternity. The countless hours spent studying, the sleepless nights, and the anxiety that had built up over the weeks all culminated in this single piece of paper. Her heart pounded in her chest as she slowly revealed the contents. The world seemed to stand still, and every second felt like an hour. She could barely breathe, her mind racing with possibilities of success and failure. This time, a bright, bold A stared back at her. It was more than just a letter. It was a beacon of hope, a testament to her hard work and determination. Maya's eyes welled up with tears of joy and relief. She had done it. She had overcome the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. The A was not just a grade. It was a symbol of her resilience, her refusal to give up, even when the odds were against her. It wasn't just a grade. It was a symbol of her resilience, her refusal to give up. Every challenge she faced, every setback she encountered, had led her to this moment. The sense of accomplishment she felt was overwhelming. She knew that this was just the beginning, that there would be more challenges ahead. But for now, she allowed herself to bask in the glory of her achievement. She had proven to herself that she was capable of greatness. Maya's journey reminded her of countless others who had triumphed over adversity. She thought about the stories of people who had faced seemingly insurmountable challenges and had come out stronger on the other side. Their stories had always inspired her, and now she felt a deep connection to them. She realized that she was part of a larger narrative, one that celebrated the human spirit's ability to persevere and overcome. People like J.K. Rowling, rejected by numerous publishers before finding success with Harry Potter, had shown her that failure was not the end, but a stepping stone to success. Rowling's story had always been a source of inspiration for Maya. She remembered reading about how Rowling had faced rejection after rejection, but had never given up on her dream. It was a powerful reminder that perseverance and belief in oneself could lead to incredible achievements. And Albert Einstein, who didn't speak fluently until he was 9 years old. Einstein's story was another testament to the power of resilience. Despite his early struggles, he went on to become one of the greatest minds in history. Maya found comfort in knowing that even the most brilliant individuals had faced challenges and had to overcome them. It made her feel less alone in her struggles and more determined to keep pushing forward. Their stories, like hers, were testaments to the power of perseverance. Maya knew that she was not alone in her journey. She was part of a community of resilient individuals who had faced adversity and had come out stronger. As she walked through the park, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that she had the strength and resilience to overcome them. The echoes of resilience were all around her, and she was proud to be a part of that legacy. Maya's story is not unique. It's a story repeated every day, in classrooms, on athletic fields, in research labs, and in the quiet corners of our own lives. It's a story about the potential that resides within each of us, waiting to be unleashed. Everyone faces their own mountains, their own unique set of challenges. These challenges may seem insurmountable, but remember Maya's journey. Embrace the struggle. Find inspiration in the stories of those who have climbed before you. And most importantly, never ever give up on yourself. Keep climbing, one step at a time, and you'll reach your summit. The view from there? Absolutely worth it.